Hey everybody, it's Dr. Meri Crowley, and I'm really excited to have in the studio with me today JUAN coming to us from Bangkok, Thailand. And we're really excited because Juan has just told me that he can come to our event that's going to be in Branson, Missouri on October 2nd and 3rd at the beautiful Mansion Theater, which had actually been formerly Wayne Newton's theater. And, when I was in Branson last, I was with Lloyd Brunson and Laura Logan, and we actually were in a theater. It was a great event, but there weren't many people there because I don't think there was enough time to promote it. But in the meantime, Branson's an incredible place. It's a free registration, but if you want VIP, it's only $176, significant of the 250-year anniversary of America in 1776. VIP includes VIP seating, VIP meet and greet with the guests, and also VIP buffet banquet luncheon on October 3rd. So there's only going to be so many VIPs that we're going to sell because there's only so much room for the catering in the room, the facility we're doing it at. So go to marycrawley.com, register for free, or get your VIP. Now, Juan's also going to be doing his event in Vegas, and we'll be talking about that too, the storm. And so you're going to want to go there as well. I was at the last one, the Fraudster conference. It was amazing. So I would suggest just be led of the Lord. Go to Juan's event first and then come to mine. So anyway, today's program is actually sponsored by Mike Lindell, My Pillow. It's actually the second annual mega sale.
My Pillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium My Pillows that adjust to your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got My Pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
Now for the lowest price ever. Kings, $19.98. Queens, only $18.98. And Giza Dream Bed Sheets, the best sheets in history, for as low as $29.98. Lux Pierce 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you, what a concept, now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But that's not all. Order right now and we'll ship your order absolutely free.
Anyway, wow. Mike Lindell, what a true patriot. I think he's running for governor of Minnesota, my home state as well. And we've seen what's happened in Minnesota. But I think the best is yet to come. But there is a storm coming. And so it's so good to have you in the studio, Juan. You're over in Bangkok right now. How are things going over there?
Well, we're busy every day. And I kind of lost my voice a little bit. It's come back just because I had meetings near continuous while I've been here over the last week and a half. And very thankful to get a chance to, I have folks that have been coming in from other regions, and so had some beautiful meetings and getting ready to head over to South Korea here in a couple of days to meet there. So, very important from a ministry standpoint. South Korea's president is in prison right now, exactly what they wanted to do to President Trump. And just as they've done in Brazil with the president there, so the fight continues. We're, deep in the fight right now.
Well, at the Fraudster event that happened, when was that?
Yeah, the Fraud Fighter Summit. Yeah.
Well, I actually did an event at the Ahern on May 8th and 9th. We had like Scott McKay, Louis Herms, Kathy O'Brien. We had a number of people. And then yours, I went to yours as well. But yeah, you have that group of people from Korea that were there talking about how they stole the election. But the Koreans took to the streets in numbers, correct?
Well, after we did the summit, I had the former prime minister from South Korea here at the event that we had in Vegas, and a delegation. In fact, we have a much larger delegation coming to our event in September. And I think we'll have about 20 people at that event coming in from South Korea. They're in a pretty gripping situation. There's a lot of understanding. What specifically happened was that the president of South Korea um, put the uh, nation into a temporary martial law situation. And that was based on consultations that happened um, uh, looking at the vote situation there for what amounted to their midterms. And knowing that there'd been extensive um, uh, fraud. So, in order to get to the servers, which uh, govern the elections, the internal servers, the only mechanism legally where he could do it wasn't through a court action or a legislative action. It was to declare martial law, then go in and try to get copies of what was there in the servers. Unfortunately, they had literally went to a location 180 degrees out of the correct location. Did not get the correct data. When you're downloading data, sometimes you can't see all the details. And so they didn't know that till after the fact. So there was a lot of pressure to lift the martial law. And by the way, Korea is going back to the war in the 50s and since has an extremely powerful, strong, heavy presence of military through all of their government and with the ongoing threat from North Korea. So there's always a bit of apprehension that is pretty extreme if you do anything militarily based because they're afraid there's going to be a coup or the elected government's going to be taken out. So when they weren't able to show the fraud quickly and they wouldn't get another chance to go into the election server system under pressure, the president lifted the martial law within 24 hours. It was only intended to be temporary anyway. But then the legal process began. He was impeached. He had to step down, was impeached, and is in prison right now. And his whole basis for even doing what he did was challenging whether or not there was fraud in the election in the what amounted to their midterms. So, and in Brazil, it's almost an identical situation where President Bolsonaro challenged the legitimacy of elections and then himself was charged with election interference for even asking the question. He's in prison. They've indicted his son, Eduardo, who, when you were at the Fraud Fighters, Eduardo was there. We showed the movie Dark Horse, which Jim Caviezel stars in, playing Javier Bolsonaro. And Eduardo was convicted in absentia a month ago. If he was to go anywhere outside the United States, any of the countries with extradition agreements, he would be arrested, taken back to Brazil, and put in prison himself. So, and he'll be at our event, the Storm Summit, in September 10 to 13 in Vegas. The Korean delegation will be there. There's actually an expanding number of people coming up from Brazil that'll be there. So, yeah, and the one thing I will say this, and I don't know what your experience was at the summit there at the Fraud Fighters, but it's like a Trump rally. Best part of a Trump rally is just hanging out with other like-minded people, even before and immediately after the president presents. The best part about the summits that has been there for folks is just getting to be around other like-minded people. And by the way, I walked through the Ahern Hotel with Don Ahern, the owner, a couple of times last month and in mid-July here. That bar area that's at the center of the floor, he bought the hotel. It was already, finished. And so they're tearing out that bar area that was at the center. And that will change the entire layout there in the hotel. And then the large screen LED TV that was on the west side of the bar is being moved to the east side of the bar out in that open, so there won't be a bad seat in the joint. So we're re-showing the
The
Dark
movie?
Horse, the
Yeah.
movie with Jim Caviezel. And I talked with Jim extensively just the other night on a bunch of stuff. I may or may not share some parts of that during the summit. And but we're at this precarious moment, not just in the United States, but around the world, all related to elections, election fraud. We have a number of players who are involved in flipping the vote electronically, remotely, including the vote in Brazil, including the vote in South Korea, including the 2020 vote in the United States. Those persons out of Venezuela, working from Serbia, and with backup out of Cuba,
Well, so are you
and
saying, Juan, are they whistleblowers that were part of, they saw the theft of it?
they didn't see it; they did it.
Oh, okay.
Huge difference.
Okay.
They are here in the United States right this second, testifying before grand juries. This is an important detail. You can't understate the magnitude of what I'm telling you here. We have people who actually did the election thefts in multiple countries around the world in their testimony, in the affidavits, in the interviews that were done while they were still outside the country over the last several years. They told numerous persons that were brought in to validate what they said, including some of the people closest to President Trump over the last several years, who were sent over with interpreters to go through the details of what they did. They testify that they flipped the vote in 71 countries plus the United States. Literally over half the population of planet Earth is under control by people who aren't the will of the people in those countries, that were put into office through election fraud.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that you can, when you talk about freedom of religion, many of these places, including South Korea, are a Christian nation, by the way, are under attack because and could lose their ability to practice their faith if these people are allowed to stay in place. And remember, South Korea, who's pushing the buttons there from North Korea and across the region? It's China. So they do not want the freedom of religion that exists unhindered in many of these places. There's a huge attack going on in Brazil for the same reason. So this is not a
And
minor thing from a faith
just to interject, one in regard to Korea, that used to have one of the largest church, Dr. Paul Youngie Cho, had the largest church in the world, and it had been and still is a very strong Christian nation. So we're in a spiritual battle, everybody, and that's why it's so important that we also pray and move and take action. And so the only way we're going to win is actually if Second Chronicles 7:14, if God's people will humble themselves, pray, seek his face, and lastly, turn from our wicked ways. But then we have to take action. And that's why it's important that we get together as well. So now going back to Thailand, in 2017, I actually went to Thailand in July 2017. That was the year that President Trump, of course, first came into office in January. And the first thing he did was put together an executive order against child trafficking. And, I went to Thailand and people were saying to me, how did you know that this was going to happen? I said, I was just following God. When I went over there, I went to Bangkok, where you are. I went to Pattaya, which has a 3-mile long walking street. of bars and restaurants with all these girls just standing outside. Like they'll be in little sailor outfits, they'll be in little devil outfits. They're all dressed alike. It's not legal in Thailand, but they kind of look the other way. So when I came back, Juan, in from that trip with my videographer, God said to me, I wanted you to see what was happening there because it is the number one sex tourist destination in the world. But he said, I want you to show what's happening in America. So it was all in Thailand, in Pattaya, in parts of, that region that when I came back, that's when I went down the rabbit hole and interviewed Liz Croke and a number of things. I had no clue what MK Ultra was. I had no clue what any of these things were. Um, and when Liz Croken really opened my eyes, that's when now we have our movie Freedom Cry, which actually I'm going to be showing at the event in Branson on October 2nd and 3rd. So, Juan, did you meet with John Michael Chambers over there? I know he's out in that region.
Actually, John came over and met with me when I was here in Thailand a couple of months back, and he's actually headed up to join me tomorrow for a couple of days. So uh, uh, we'll have a great time. And I've had delegations that flew in from other countries in the region that I've been meeting with over the last 10 days while I've been here. So it's a good rallying point. Some of the conversations are not things that are looked upon favorably in some of these other countries, but we've had favorable situation here. So, um, and I'll be here for another week still here, and then I'm headed over to South Korea. So, and it's important, when you look at the trafficking here in Thailand, they are very aggressive here on the child trafficking side. It's not perfect. There's a lot of problems within regional
Aggressive in what
governments.
way, Juan? Aggressive in stopping it?
Uh, they they do try hard to keep the child trafficking um, from becoming rampant. But the people that you probably saw, many of them are right on the edge age wise. Further out in the region, as you get into, for example, Cambodia
Yeah.
and uh, some areas of Vietnam, it gets horrifically worse. And a lot of the children are literally taken from other places in the region and taken to those locations. Um, Aaron Schwartz from MIT, who actually created the Reddit system for internet communications. Aaron Schwartz was charged with trying to steal the Cambridge Law Library and out of England. And what he had done is he'd gone into a communications closet at MIT and had downloaded uh, a library, including visual images, which was being transited through MIT and on MIT servers. And it included all of this video and photographic library from Asia, where uh, computers had been sent to help kids with learning and gaining access to the internet that was actually being used to traffic children. And so he was charged. He's only 24 at the time. He was charged with all this computer theft, and as that they were threatening to put him in prison for the rest of his life. Supposedly, he committed suicide. But there's so much more to that story. And I believe that over the next year or two, as more and more details come out on this last couple decades, that he will be vindicated and uh, shown what he was really doing. He was trying to bring to the public and to law enforcement authorities the component of the trafficking and sale of children and foreign imagery that was coming through MIT and through their facilities and other university systems around the world. And these hubs, which were essentially being used to traffic child porn and even to generate it for customers. Um, this region has been under significant attack, but I think there's a move of the Holy Spirit in this region that's gaining ground. And the core of it is the people getting into office. Of course, we have the king and queen here in Thailand, but you still have officials down through the ranks and the policing like that. But some of the other countries around the area here, the presidents, prime ministers, senior officials are working hard to try to regain the high ground, to stop the trafficking and more fundamentally to get control of their elections, where the elections are being stolen and people are getting into office who are not the will of the people in these countries any more than, say, Biden reflected the will of America,
Mhm.
of where the election thefts are happening all over the world. It's a huge,
Right.
huge,
Well,
huge, huge issue.
just to interject in regard to what you said about the child porn, Troy Brewer is one of the speakers at the event in Branson. The last 25 years, they've rescued over 13,000 kids. And he's not just rescuing them, they're actually providing for them, housing them, feeding them, raising them. And when he was on Fox News, a national affiliate channel, he was asked, well, what's the cause of this? And he quickly said pornography. He said the pornography goes from the looking at the babysitter to the baby. I mean, who in their right mind would ever want to be with, a child in the natural realm? But that's what the pornography does. And so it's very significant being in Branson because Kathy O'Brien, even I did a great interview with her a few days ago, and I listened to her Transformation of America book. And she talked about, being, of course, a high level Pentagon, White House level honeypot, that she said that Branson would be used, where through the country music, some people with country music, and Senator Robert Byrd, who was like a big country music, played at the Grand Ole Opry with his fiddle, but he also liked to fiddle with little girls, including, I guess, Kathy said at 13, he bought her. So, I mean, you can't believe the amount of, George H.W. Bush, Cheney, it goes into all these names of people. But because of national security that came out in 1947, every time they got to the highest levels to bust these ones, they'd always step in and say national security, and it would shut it down. And so it's going to be very important at this Branson event. There's nothing more, I believe, deplorable than hurting little children, little kids. That's why Jesus said it'd be better than a millstone hung around your neck than to touch one of these little ones. And a lot of people go, "Oh, I don't want to think about it. It's too hard to think about it." When in America, there's over 1 million kids missing right here every year with the CPS, the Child Protective Services, foster care. There's some good people that work in those industries, but there's a lot of corruption. So God is basically exposing all the corruption in the government, the elections, and the trafficking. And we need to stay the course and believe that we're going to see a great overthrowing of this demonic realm that has come. So, Juan, you were talking to me before we started this interview about the storm. And that's why your event, as well as my event, I think they're one, two, yours being first, mine being second. Um, what do you believe the storm is going to be?
Well, we're in the storm.
Yeah.
You don't have to question what the storm is.
Yeah.
The storm is people in power, not just in America, but around the world, through falsified elections. And then the power they wield from these positions of authority. Uh, the uh, the reality is, and it's not that hard to understand. You've heard President Trump saying repeatedly over the last year, little over a year, that he was 45, 46, although he didn't really want to take credit for that, and now 47. That's the most audacious statement on the planet on its face. He said it first while the generals were meeting last spring, a year ago. He had a unheard of ever before gathering of all the generals. You have 800 generals in the military system, plus flag officers, admirals, and which amounts to a couple hundred. And he had everybody except the most crucial backbone ribs people come to uh, Virginia and have a very important meeting, get everybody on course together. And during the time that meeting was taking place, he said he was 46. He's 46. Biden was 46. He hasn't let up on that. In fact, in his rallies that happened all during the time while Biden was in office, Trump repeatedly showed a, um, a photograph during the rallies, and it showed his approval rating, and the lowest point in his approval rating was in late March of 2020. Now, March 13th of 2020, he declared a national emergency related to COVID. Then on March 15th, he went to Cheyenne Mountain, which is the location where our um, uh, continuity and government operations are run from a military standpoint. If we had a nuclear war or some weapon of mass destruction was used against America, or volcanoes simultaneously went off because of a sunspot or some crazy thing to keep the country going. And after going through this scheduled tour, he got outside the mountain, went to the media that was gathered there present, and said, out of an abundance of caution, because we may have just been attacked, because we may be at war and not realize it yet with the COVID epidemic, I'm ordering the mountain to be shut up. And he sealed it up as though we were at nuclear war, if you will. What's not understood broadly, an attack on the vote is legally, by international law, considered a weapon of mass destruction on the same scale as full out nuclear war or biological war or chemical war. And so when he sealed up Cheyenne Mountain over COVID, at that moment, he began operating as commander in chief. And in that meme that I referenced, it shows his popularity rating. And in the lower right hand corner, and it was never changed, withdrawn, audited in any way. All the rallies kept showing it over and over if you were paying attention. It'd only be up there for a few seconds and then gone. It said, pointing with an arrow to his lowest ratings, which they're touting right now as him having the lowest ratings ever uh, in all of his administration, being the same as. It says that President Trump resigns office, and it points to that mid-March date. What? President Trump resigns office? No, he stayed till the end of his term. He stayed until the end of March or January 20th of 2021. What are you talking about? From late March of 2020. Says he resigned his presidency. What did I tell out to the public? It was shown to the world. What are you talking about? Did he not? Did somebody make a mistake? No, he took off his president hat, which is like the chief of police, aimed internally into the country, and put on his commander-in-chief hat. And when he says he was 46, yeah, because Biden may have taken the presidency, the chief of police role, the administrative role. He never got nuclear codes. He never got nuclear control. Trump never relinquished that. He never acknowledged that he lost the election. You're watching out across for the whole world to see that we're in a fight similar to what happened with the president of South Korea, similar to what's going on right now with the Bolsonaro family there in Brazil, a fight for who's actually running countries around the world and through these fraudulent elections. The storm is fighting back to recapture legal control of countries across the world, 72 countries total, where the election fraud has been perfected. The ballot fraud has been perfected. And by the way, everybody here in this audience should have no misunderstanding. COVID wasn't about killing people off with the flu or a threat of SARS-2 weaponized flu. COVID was about stealing elections across the world. That's why they got the drop boxes, the mail-in going crazy. And we're moving America and the world to digital-only voting through your cell phone and digital location. So you'd never be able to get control of your country ever again because they'd forever control the black box.
Yeah.
This is important because when President Trump declared the COVID emergency, he's not waiting to now do a national security emergency related to elections. It's already in play. And legally, there was 1 year's time in which it could be overturned by the House and Senate with a 2/3 majority vote. Never happened. Biden couldn't lift the emergency. They could declare anything they wanted. They couldn't stop the COVID emergency, which isn't about the flu. It's about elections. Trump is about to do something that is absolutely gripping and stunning, that is going to shock the entire free world and the Marxists and communists that are trying to take control through fraud. He's going to pause the fall election. He's going to not allow the midterms to go forward. That's my belief. And more people are in agreement with me on that. Steve Bannon agreed on Monday, said it publicly, that the president's going to have to pause the election. Peter Tickton, his friend, said that on the stage with me there in Las Vegas, as did other people with technical expertise. Mark Cook, who's a member of my coalition, who's been fighting hard doing the hand count paper ballot roadshow, also agrees. The reason you can't fix and correct the fall election is because it's already fixed. You've already got primaries where people are put on the ballot through ballot fraud, or you don't have clean voter rolls. You cannot fix this coming election. It's already fixed. That's important because what we're about to experience here in America is the first hard pushback against the election frauds around the world. And President Trump, 2 weeks ago on Thursday, told you who was behind it: China.
Yeah.
We are engaging a mortal enemy who, by the way, tries to strike down everywhere that they're operating, everywhere they exist, the Christian, the spiritual side of every culture that they invade. And to promote, by the way, the child trafficking. Go to any of the countries in South America where China is ruling and reigning behind the scenes, and you've got brothels with children brought in from around the world to serve as Chinese workers that are living in those areas. It's one of the most grotesque things you can imagine. I just went through this in a particular South American country where the general staff in that country and some of our people were there helping them, and they took a tour of all the locations. It was just stunning how extensive it is, and it's the same in all these countries. And working with the Cubans, providing security at those locations, fights on. And
Well, and Juan,
we're
going
probably
back to
go ahead. I'm sorry.
going back to what happened, as you said, with the primaries here in California, you could see even in the mayor's race with Spencer Pratt, and even a number of things that there is clear, fraud. And you had mentioned, I think, in another show that that California, it would probably, what did you say about California? I think on Nino's show that they would still have their own elections or something to that effect.
Well, they're going to try. There's scuttlebutt within the politicians in California who are aware that Trump is very likely, in their opinion, now going to pause the fall elections for cause. And they've been trying to say that he can't declare a national emergency, yeah, for elections and pause the election in time, be a coup, etc. And I've been saying to people where I can, no, you have to understand, we already are in a legally declared national emergency. Trump is already telegraphing to everybody. I was 46. Okay, he never conceded the election. He retained authority. He's been putting it out to you in those little memes that most people weren't paying attention to. A national security emergency regarding elections already exists. When it was called the COVID emergency, COVID was not about the flu. It's about elections. It was used as a cover to steal elections around the world. You're already in an election emergency, which was lawfully declared. Now, when these people come out and say he can't pause the elections this fall, they're totally flat out, completely 1000% wrong, don't know what the hell they're talking about. When he does that, California and some of the people in high office are saying that they have the right to run the elections. The state thing, they set the time and the place. They want to go forward with the elections in spite of anything Trump may do from the federal position. It's like when the pardon for Tina Peters was made as a federal pardon. The governor of Colorado refused to acknowledge it. The jail system
Right.
within Colorado refused to acknowledge it. And they want to do the same thing with the elections and go forward with elections. And what they're not understanding is we're moving from a passive holding action related to what was going on with the elections to an assertive, aggressive side and taking control, including regionally. Trump's going to come out of his corner as commander in chief, and there's no judge, there is no governor, there's no local city council or county council or county clerks who are going to be able to stop him from doing what he has to do from a martial law type of a standpoint and take control of the elections around the country, pause them, and reset the way that we do the elections. And by the way, arrests will occur in that window and continue to build out. It's not just a couple of days, it's not a month or two. All of next year will be about regaining control, not just of the elections, but the court system. And then resetting how things function in America. People that are in office through election fraud and exposing that, including the ballot fraud. China printed tens and tens and tens of millions of fake ballots and shipped them into America, both 2020 and 2024. You have to have those paper ballots to augment the digital fraud. So we're about to come into disclosures that are going to shock not just people here in America, but across the world. And then once we get our own elections under control and begin the process of resuming our elections here in America, we're also going to simultaneously be helping countries around the world to get their elections under control and have legitimate elections of honest elections here in America, honest elections across the world, and hand in hand with that goes honest money, recapturing control of the money operations, the treasuries around the world,
Right.
taking it back from the international reserve system run out of the city of London and back to local treasuries in countries around the world. Why is this important? Because, no, I'm sorry, I had a call coming in there. I can't block it. There
Well,
we
and
go.
just let me just interject briefly
I
as
apologize.
listen.
I had a call coming in and I couldn't block it, but go ahead.
Well, I'm hearing God speak to me right now. First of all, when COVID happened in 2020, we were the first state that shut down. And I heard the voice of the Lord speak to me saying, COVID-19 is Christ overcoming victory in disease, Psalm 19. He flipped it, and what he wants us to do, knowing that we are at a Red Sea moment. And when Moses was told by God at the burning bush to go and speak to the Pharaoh, let my people go, we're at a showdown. That the first thing that happened, of course, with Elijah on Mount Carmel was against the prophets of Baal that were killing, children, sacrificing them to Moloch and Ashtoreth. It's the same thing that we're seeing now. So even as we can get our elections under control, in the natural realm, we're dealing with the spiritual component. That the only way we're going to win is having a 1-2, like what you're doing with, the Storm Summit, what I'm doing with the Open the Heavens, the ninth event since 2023, and you've been, I think, at 4 or 5 of them. You were at the you were in Mount Rushmore, but you were just on Zoom. You came to Chicago, you came to the Florida one at Champions Church, uh, and then you were in, I think, on the Nampa Civic Center in Idaho. You spoke at the Ahern, but this one, you're not sure if you can be there in person, but the Branson event is going to be so important because this is the heartland of America. And God said to me, this ninth one, literally, you're going to open up the heart because we're dealing with a heart issue. If men, God gave me, and then I'll let you go back to what you were saying. God said, tell the men they're not a pimp, a pirate, or a pawn, but a prince and a king. And women, you're holy, not hoes. I mean, God spoke that to me. We're dealing with a spirit of Jezebel and seduction that's trying to capture the hearts of men and women, that you look at these children as objects instead of as human beings. So if we don't get the hearts of men and women under control, you can do whatever you want with the elections. We've got to change the heart. And in the heartland of Branson, I believe that as we pray, we're going to have a worship team. Ashley won this worship team. I met this woman and her son, her nephew. I was at the Rededication of America event in DC on May 17th. We actually met with Mike Johnson, a number of the pastors, in the morning of May 17th. And then we walked over, we were right in front of the stage, had seats, all the pastors. But then it got hot. I went under a picnic table and there's a tree, and sitting there. And I met this woman from India that God spoke to her 20 years ago to come to the heartland of America and to disciple and to get America back to be one of the voices of raising up the people in America to come back to the Lord. I mean, to literally reawaken America. Her nephew's got an incredible worship team named Elam, Elam. I said some Christian word, or I don't know what it signifies. I need to find that out. But they're coming from Iowa, and they've been going all over the heartland of America in front of thousands of young people worshiping on campuses. And we're going to see the heavens opened over the region in the heartland of America. So I'm excited about you coming via Zoom or coming in person. You'll know more
No, I'm going to
after.
try and be there in person. I think I can. So, I mean, I don't want to quibble on that. I told you that I would try to make that. I think I probably can. So, it's an important moment.
Well,
I do believe that.
let's put up the flyer of Juan's event in Vegas. Let's put that up right now. And Juan, where can people get tickets for that?
Well, at unauthorized dot one ONE, one spelling out the number, unauthorized dot one, and you can see the Storm Summit. If you click on events, it takes you to the Storm Summit. We've sold out the Ahern. We actually sold out an adjacent hotel, the Sahara, but then they opened up additional rooms. And there's very inexpensive rooms over at the Stratosphere, which is only 800 feet away walking. And you're going to be at the summit most time anyway, so because we're doing stuff all day into the evening. And then the Trump.
Well, and then the food was
still has
incredible.
rooms too. So.
The food
Yeah,
was
yeah.
incredible. I mean, we had breakfast, lunch, dinner. I mean, the food was amazing. So your ticket price, the price point on your tickets are what is the price one?
Well, yeah, the tickets are 600. They're going to 700 on August 2nd. So, um, uh, it was supposed to be at the end of August, or I mean, end of July, but we extended a couple days because some people get paid at the end of the month, government payroll and like that. And so I want to make sure that some of our military and like that didn't get clipped unnecessarily. But for that number, you're getting not just the world class speakers, but all of the meals and like that. And because I want people to stay together. Even you notice the layout. We don't just do it theater seating where it's elbow to elbow. We've got uh, desk seating where you've got a place to put your stuff and put your
Yeah.
plate, and hang out with other like-minded people. You don't have as many people, but it's much more comfortable. And then, of course, now that the bar is being taken out at the center of
Yeah.
the facility there, it's going to be we're the first event up with that new system in place. Mr. Ahern spent a significant amount of money to change the layout in there just to accommodate what we're doing and moving forward. And so I'm excited to be the first major event to do
Yeah.
that. And by the way, there wasn't a bad seat for um, the movie. We've got Roseanne Barr coming. She's showing the first two episodes of her new TV series, special 10-part series. We're going to show the first two. That's going to be epic. It's hysterical. Matt and I are still quoting my chief of staff, quoting pieces from what we saw of the trailer, and just funny little lines. We get such a kick out of it. It's hysterical. And I'll be
It,
doing a
it
major
was funny,
presentation.
Juan, when a couple years
Yeah.
ago when Clay Clark had an event there and Roseanne, we were in the the bar area that I saw you actually with Dennis Rice. Uh, we were over there meeting friends and you and Dennis, which I'd never met before. So he's one
Well,
of
I
the
actually
ones.
escorted Roseanne over to the event and back afterwards. So Roseanne, I had her in tow. So I was off.
The situation is we are going to be doing a couple events. One's event at the Ahern Hotel, which you just saw up on the flyer is right there. It's an amazing event. And then my event, just 3 weeks later, is going to be at the Mansion Theater in Branson. It actually holds 3,000 people. So Juan's event is a little more expensive because it includes all the meals, but my event in Branson is in Mansion, at the Mansion, former Wayne Newton Theater, holds 3,000 people, and it's free. Register for free at marycrowley.com, or you can actually get your VIP. VIP includes special seating at the front, meet and greet with the speakers. And Juan, you just heard him say that he's going to try to be there in person. He told me before we started this interview that actually there was a friend of his bought some major property in Branson. And so Juan says he thinks he can make it there. And so come to the event in Branson on Friday evening, October 2nd, and all day Saturday, October 3rd, from 9 a.m. in the morning till 10 at night. Now, it's only VIP is only $176 if you get the VIP early bird special in significance of the 250-year anniversary of America. So that includes also the luncheon. It's a beautiful buffet banquet, and then we have VIP seating and also meet and greet with all the speakers. And the speakers include Kathy O'Brien. We've got Troy Brewer, Joseph Z. We've got Donna Rigney. We've got Larry Ballard, which has been on the shows quite a bit. He lives in Branson, and we're going to be inviting many more people. But go to marycrowley.com and get your VIP tickets for only $176. Otherwise, it's $196. You get 10% discount early bird before September 1st. And then, you can register for free. We will take up donations because I am a nonprofit 501c3. We will be showing my film Freedom Cry, Sex Trafficking in America after the lunch on Saturday, October 3rd. We will at night have some amazing speakers, more prophetic, like Christian speakers. Juan, of course, is a Christian and a believer, but at the end, we always do something really fun where we have all the speakers come up and we have a kind of almost like a rows of the speakers, and then the people come through and we actually pray for you, anoint you as you go through this fire tunnel, because we actually are just wanting you to come to hear us. We want to see you impacted, imparted, and to make, an impact on the nation, because you all have a call. You all have something to do, whether it's prayer, whether it's running for office, whether it's, whatever it's called for you to do. That's what we want to see you basically impacted for the kingdom. And ours is more of a spiritual event about opening the heavens over these regions. Just for the record, I'm waiting to see if Juan comes back in. But anyway, he's in Thailand, and we lost. He was telling me earlier that he wasn't able to connect. We were supposed to, 2 hours ago, and we got him on Zoom, and we'll just have to edit it out. The party dropped off, but in the meantime, God spoke to me May 2nd, 2020. I'm in California. I'm in Los Angeles. Though God told me to build a studio to rival Disney and call it Destiny. Now, technically, I've only done one movie, but I believe it's going to be the greatest show on earth. And it's a showdown. And every single one that we've done, the very first one was in the Mount Rushmore area on June 2nd and 3rd. Governor Kristi Noem was going to come. She had something that came up, but she actually made June 3rd Open the Heavens Day in South Dakota. And by one of the legislators, Joe Donnell, actually read the proclamation from the stage. There was a significant sign in the heavenlies with thunder and lightning on June 2nd. And then it was an amazing time. We opened a portal over the region. They go, what's that? Well, in the Bible, remember, it talks about when Jesus was being baptized by John the Baptist. It says the heavens opened and the voice of God the Father said, this is my beloved Son, in whom I'm well pleased. A portal opened. But remember, in the Old Testament, when Daniel prayed, and he prayed for God to come, Gabriel took 21 days to break through. And he said, we heard you from the first minute you prayed, but we were battling in the second heavens. And so they finally broke through after 21 days. So what we're dealing with is a battle in the second heavens that we're taking down, opening these portals in different regions of the country as God directs us to go. And so it's a showdown. So listen, come to Branson, on October 2nd and 3rd. And I believe that something very significant is going to happen. All I do is we get a group of people together there. We have the worship, and then I just say Psalm 24. We come together and we pray, and I just say, lift up your heads, O you gates. Be lifted up, you ancient doors. Let the King of glory come in. Who is this King? It is Jesus, strong and mighty in battle. The Lion of the tribe of Judah is going to roar. And I'm going to say, just like I was talking about this let my people go moment with Moses, as he led the children of Israel finally after the 10th plague, which was the plague of the death of the firstborn son. But if the blood of a lamb, an unblemished lamb, was of their home, the angel of death passed by. And then that's when finally the Pharaoh said, let them go. Right now, the enemy, we're in a showdown, a battle between good and evil. And we can see it happening right in front of our eyes, in particular with the children. So don't think, oh, it's too hard, I can't hear about this. No, they're after your children, they're after your grandchildren, they're after your nieces, nephews. They're after all of them, and they're trying to transgender our children with the media, with different even cartoons. That's what they're doing. They're trying to get the hearts of the children. And we have to stand up and fight against it, because we are going to see the greatest show on earth. as I close out, because it looks like Juan is not coming back in. It's almost midnight his time over there in Thailand. You know, as they finally left Egypt, remember all those years of slavery. Many of you watching, maybe you felt like slaves for years. Well, remember at the burning bush, Moses was told by God that when they leave Egypt to ask for the silver and the gold. And when they left Egypt, they left millionaires or billionaires. And they left with wealth of the wicked. And some of the Egyptians even left with them. And as they came up to the Red Sea, you remember all of a sudden Pharaoh got, so agitated, thinking, what did I do? I just let all my slaves go. So he started coming after them. But God put a pillar of fire between them so they couldn't get across that barrier. And as they came up to the Red Sea, all of a sudden the children of Israel said, why did you bring us out here to die? They got really upset at Moses. And many people are, why is it taking so long? Why is this taking so long? When is the arrest going to happen? I see so many people getting, really disenfranchised and thinking, oh, I'm just going to quit. But all of a sudden, Moses, God said, raise your staff. What is in your hand? And Moses raised his staff, and all of a sudden the seas parted, and they walked through the Red Sea. It's a Red Sea moment that we're at this door. Yes, President Trump, we bless him. We thank you for what he's doing as the commander-in-chief. But the only one that is really going to deliver the nation and the world is God and the Father, the Trinity, God the Father, God the Son, the Holy Spirit. So what is in our hands? We're going to come into these areas like at the Aaron Hotel. We're going to come to Branson, at the mansion. God already paid the ransom. And we're going to go there and we're going to raise our staff. And we're going to say, open the heavens, open them wide, bring in your spotless bride. And Lord, no longer will we hide, which is shame. No longer will we walk in pride, which is vanity, but we're going to walk right by your side, which is humility. And we will see the greatest show that you've ever seen, because God himself will restore your dream. And he's going to bring us on the scene as a king and queen. And we're going to know that we're just not a meme, but we're going to come into a time again to dream. So don't lose heart and don't lose hope. Never surrender and don't just cope, but come into this time that you will know that this will be the greatest show that the world has ever known. As long as you listen and do what you're shown, then your mind will be blown when you see the victory and the key that the Lord's going to do. This is the hour that he will make all things new. And as they crossed through the sea, and as they crossed into the sea, and then remember the Pharaoh's armies attacked and was there, but then the seas overflowed them and they were drowned. It's upon my people that I'm going to put the crown, and it will be a crown of hope and a crown of glory. And my people will now rise up and tell this story. It will be the greatest story ever told. And I'm going to give you back 100-fold. ROI. Because you, says the Lord, are the apple of my eye. So, Lord, I thank you as I close out the show. We bless Juan. He's going to be going to Korea, as you heard him say. Lord, we pray for that whole region in the earth. Lord, I was there 2017, 9 years ago. God, I think this 9 years ago. The time just flies. So, Lord, I thank you that we pray for the Storm Summit. We pray for the Open the Heavens in Branson, the 9th one in 3 years. 9 means birthing. Lord, birth something in Branson. Lord, bring the people and let them hear your voice say, go to Branson. You fly into Springfield, but many people drive in from like Kansas City, 3 hours, like certain parts of Arkansas, from Nebraska, from different areas. It's like a 3-hour, drive. So come to Branson. We hope to see you there. The flyers, put the flyer up one more time, where you get your tickets as you go to MeriCrowley.com, and right, the flyer will pop up. It will say register for free or get your VIP. for $176, which is significant of 1776, 250-year anniversary of the birth of America with the Declaration of Independence. God bless you all. Thank you for watching. Now is the time. We hope to see you in Branson. And many of you, we hope to you go. I won't be at Juan's event. I'm traveling different places promoting mine. But I'm praying for Juan's event. And I met many of you there that they came up to me and said, I watched your show. I watched your show. And they were so thankful for so many of you that have come up to me at the Ahern, that it was so great to meet you guys. And I hope to see you in Branson. So God bless you. The best is yet to come. Please subscribe and follow and share, hit the notification bells, and even make comments, because it does change the algorithms. They've tried to shadow ban me on a number of things, unfollowing me. See, when you start talking about trafficking, they will literally, even channels like Rumble, I've been stuck in a number because they keep unfollowing my friends, people that are part of my team. They go, I just got unfollowed again. So it stays the same. So keep on, share it with other people. Let's break their algorithms. Let's break what they're doing, because BlackRock bought out part of Rumble. And so we have to, you guys, we're in a war, and we are going to see the greatest show on earth come to life. And it will be the greatest movies, the greatest music, the greatest intellectual property the world has ever seen. And we're going to see God give us back our dream. So God bless you. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Juan, for coming on. And we'll see you soon. The best is yet to come. God bless.